Welcome to AllertonApp.com. This is Adapted, episode 87. My name's Tristan. Joining me this week, we've got Chad and Jason. What's going on, guys?
What's up, everybody?
Dude, not much. I'm excited to be here. I'm surprised Sweener's not here again.
Dog days of summer, man.
Sweener got hit with the power outage.
Dude, I think it's hilarious, dude. We're about to go on, and he flips the switch or his AC, and his entire house goes out, dude. All we get is voice. It was terrifying. It's kind of perfect.
Guys, you know, the cabin. So, I mean, kind of goes without saying that something's going to happen in the cabin.
Like, what does the cabin run on? We have to figure that out next
It's
week.
off the grid.
It's like, yeah, is it like a generator where he's like putting like food in there, like Back to the Future style? Like, what's going on?
Does he sit on a fucking bike and pedal like while he's on the podcast?
Yeah. Is there a crank like in a separate room off the cabin? Like, these are things we need to answer next week.
There might be a crank. All right, well, we kind of took some time off last week as we talked all things San Diego Comic-Con. That was the entire show last week. But we're back on our schedule, continuing Preacher. But first, we've got Stranger Things. We talked about the first episode 2 weeks ago now. And we're talking about episodes 2 and 3 this week, or chapters 2 and 3, as they like to title them in the Netflix guide there. But after the boys discovered 11 at the end of the first episode, they're in all kinds of freak out mode as for most of this beginning part of the episode, as they take her down to Mike's basement, and she's about to take her shirt off, and Dustin freaks out. He keeps doing the.
That was so great. That was so great.
Dustin, just every single thing he does just cracks me up.
It kills it. Is it because he doesn't have front teeth or what?
I don't know if that has. I don't think that has anything to do with it. But
no, when I was like talking to Amy about Toothless, dude, he reminds me of like some of the kids like from Sandlot, like the movie Sandlot. Just like he plays the gimmick really well, dude.
Right.
It's really
I mean, all these kids are like really intense in nerd culture. Some like they're just kids, and they're in D&D, the comics. But yeah, the things he says just cracks me up.
His delivery is pretty good too, because it's kind of like terrible, but in a fun way. Like he says things that are like really smart, which is weird from a little chubby kid with no teeth. It's just kind of
the things he focuses on is just like no one else is thinking it, but he says it.
Yeah. Like my favorite scene is, I don't know if it was this episode, but where he's on the bike with Mike, and Mike tells him he's his best friend too, and he's like, yeah, bro, and he's just like kind of like, you're fucking stupid. Right. Obviously, you can only have one best friend.
Well, after the disappearance of Will, his mom Joyce is losing it, and that's the best way of defining it. Phone blows up. She goes to the store to get a new phone, and it's just weird occurrences are happening inside her house as far as like what it all means. Mm-hmm. It's really intriguing to me. Like it seemed, and she even talks to Will over the phone. At least she thinks it's Will. So how that's happening, I don't know, but it's really crazy.
And it's cool too, because it gives you the vibe that it's like, I don't know, a lot of these shows like tend to go like, oh, you think it's gonna be a monster, you think it's gonna be something crazy, and then they slap you with like, oh, it was just an imagination, or it wasn't, it didn't happen, or whatever. Like this is kind of like with the phone blowing up like that, dude. It makes it really feel like, okay, this dude's like stuck somewhere in the walls and the power grid, like he's trying to get his word out, dude, and like fries the phone. So it continues that vibe that it's not gonna be fake.
Did you think he was stuck in the power grid? Like in the phone line or something? Like,
I did, because of the whole like getting caught in the outhouse with the light bulb, and the light bulb burnt out. And like so then I was like, oh, this creature. Yeah, the creature pulled him into the power grid, so now he's just like I was thinking that he was just like a flicker of light. Like, he was just like that he's in the power, and like not in this, wherever he is. So.
I thought he was like a ghost or an apparition, and kind of like floating around, just like particles or some shit like that. And of course, not even close, but who knew?
You don't know at the time, dude. Shatter a light bulb becomes falling out.
Yeah. This second episode did a really great job of just building these characters up, of like actually defining who they really are. We got more of Nancy being the rebellious teen, and just her being rebellious, and even though she's like that smart girl at school, and her friend Barb is like the voice of reason that is right there on her shoulder, but she tends to not to listen to her whatsoever.
Dude, the internet loves Barb. It's out of control at this point.
Dude, that Barb drawing, the graffiti Barb?
Graffiti Barb, like Barb is everywhere, dude. I didn't realize this was her first acting gig too, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, this is like her first big gig. So like she's doing these press tours and stuff, and she doesn't know what to say, so they like have a coach like teaching her how to do all this on the fly.
Interesting.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
because she doesn't have a huge role in the series.
No,
not
very
at
small.
all.
Yeah,
but she just makes a big impact.
I was even seeing some things that if they're ever gonna make a movie or anything about the Marvel character Squirrel Girl,
yes,
they're talking like, let's throw Barb in there.
My big impact was,
Girl?
do you not remember, it's like Sweener, the first episode was like all about Barb, and I think this was weeks ago now. Like he was like, I don't know if he was in love with Barb or what his deal was, but he was all Barb the entire thing, so.
She's got that innocent charm, you know? Innocent,
sure.
You know, everyone can relate to her.
Not me, dude. I'm watching it. I'm like, just drink the fucking beer, Barb. Just be cool. Like, what is wrong with you? Like,
slam it, Barb. Come on, Barb.
Yeah,
do it.
It's driving me nuts.
You could tell Jason was the pusher back in high school.
I was a Barb back in high school.
I was probably Barb, too.
Barb.
You're all a bunch of fucking Barbs. I think that's a new thing.
It is.
You're a fucking Barb.
Hopper is a more and more interesting character for me. Like his backstory, and it's totally revealed in this one that he did lose his daughter at one point. Not exactly sure how. I made it think that it was like a missing kid thing, kind of like how Joyce and Will, as far as like how they're explaining in this episode. But they don't go in big detail as far as like what happened to his daughter.
Did you start thinking, like I started thinking, that Elle was his daughter and he just didn't know it because she was taken so young? Because they haven't, shown too much, and like, you don't get to see a lot. Like they just start talking about it, and I'm like, oh shit, dude. Sure enough, I bet you by the end of the season, this is his kid. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, going into this show, I watched the trailer before I even watched the series, and I was like, okay, so the show's about a kid missing, and then another kid shows up out of nowhere. So like,
ding.
Which is 11. Which like, okay, what is connected to what? And that's what kind of got me intrigued in the series in the first place. Just like, what the hell is going on? A lot of nice throwbacks to just like Star Wars references in this episode. We talk about Yoda with the kids, and using Eleven's powers after they discover that she's got telekinesis when she slams the door on what's his name? The kid that always Lucas. The kid that is like just like he's always disagreeing with his friends all the time.
Yeah, he's the Chad.
Go with the flow, Lucas.
The Sweener of the group.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but a couple characters I just despise: Tommy H and Carol, Steve's friends.
I despise Steve. The entire show.
You despise Steve?
Oh, I couldn't stand Steve. That guy annoys me. But his friends.
Actually, all three of those are just really annoying to deal with.
That Tommy guy is like, okay, how is this guy even like considered cool? Because he's just like an idiot and
an asshole to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I guess maybe his girlfriend.
In high school, the assholes are the cool guys, right?
Jerk,
like that's the thing.
That is kind of true. Yeah, that's consensus.
He really reminds me of Butnick from Salute Your Shorts. It's the old Nickelodeon show, if you ever watched it.
I did not watch that show.
It's a great show. You should catch up if they're showing.
I think I saw it like a couple times, but I never really watched it.
He reminds me of him though. But we get some more info that 11 knows her stuff, as like she knows all these things that you wouldn't think she would know. Like she knows where Will is. At least she tells Mike and company. And she flips the board, and she kind of says that Will's hiding from the Demogorgon, which doesn't make total sense. Like, okay, he's hiding, but where is he then? Is he in the electricity, or whatever the case may be?
Yeah, nobody really knows.
Where does the Demogorgon live? Once you figure that shit out, then you know.
Right.
And Elle knows. Elle's crazy. She confused me for a little while, dude. Like how she would know certain things and she wouldn't know like other things that are way more obvious than the shit that she already knew. Like I don't know. Like some of the stuff they would hand her or show her, it's just like, oh, what is that? And it's like you know what your fucking pants and shirt are, but you're gonna get scared of a blanket.
Yeah.
Like, punch her, dude.
Yeah, I guess you can't punch her.
There was a few moments as we get further into the season. We'll discuss them. I'll discuss them. You guys can just.
So you don't like Elle, is what you're saying?
I love Elle. I think she's great, but I just think that she just doesn't She's poorly misrepresenting herself, and she's making herself look dumber than she is sometimes.
All right.
And I don't think that she should do that.
Fair enough.
Just to try and like win Toothless's heart.
I don't think she's trying to win Toothless's heart. Pretty sure she doesn't care.
I know we've all watched the entire series already, but I'm thinking a possibility of a follow-up. It might not have to be a sequel, but like something set like 15 years after these events. And I just want to see like Mike and Lucas and Toothless and how they like interact like as older, like maybe like around 18 or something, or as like older teenagers, something like that.
Dude,
I'm just intrigued. Like,
I'm sure we'll get. I mean, this show is probably going to be around for like 4 or 5 years. Like, there's no doubt.
Alex,
like season 2, they're already talking is going to like jump a year.
So
That's
do
gonna
you
be the
want
big
to
thing.
see it go the route of like an American Horror Story or a True Detective,
No.
where it takes like the same people and then just kind of switches
Hate
it
it.
up a little bit?
No.
Or you just want to see them continuing like to find more missing babies?
I found that whole concept interesting at first, but then after a while, it doesn't work anymore. Like American Horror Story was good, maybe like first 2 seasons they did it, and then just like got bad, not very. And they couldn't like figure out like a good season by like rebooting it every single year.
Well, I feel like this show is like we you know, I don't know. I just don't see it going to a really good second season. I feel like it'll fall.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah,
Like, there's so
well,
many
I
things
mean,
we don't know.
We can't talk about any of that yet. Dude. We gotta wait it out. Dude. We'll talk.
But why would you even bring that up?
Because you guys are talking
This
about
is a crazy
sequels.
statement.
Oh.
There's so much there's so many ways this can go.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't see them.
We'll save that discussion for later.
And I think I base it off of Wayward Pines having a sequel, and it didn't need a sequel. And I can see this kind of falling in the same line because there's creatures and stuff in Wayward Pines, and they just did some stupid shit with it. And I could see them doing some dumb things with this easily.
Yeah, but
To appease fans, and that's what they did with Wayward Pines, and it annoyed.
I don't
the shit
even
out
think this would be to appease fans. I think this is just there's more story to tell. We don't know like a lot about that secret base, like why the creature is what it is. There's like so
of
many
it. It's gone
things.
now. Yeah, well,
There's
yeah.
just so many like why it was there, like or like how it came to be. Like there's like a lot of
Yeah.
things that are left unsaid. That I
Well,
think
at
are
the
worth
end of-
exploring.
I just hope it's
second episode, things got real weird after
Should I stay or should I go?
Jonathan started. The Clash music was awesome. And the wall protruding, yeah, that was awesome. Joyce getting more phone calls, and that's when she heard Will say him out. But Jonathan taking creeper photos really threw me off.
Yeah.
As far as like, okay, they're going that route with this guy, okay. And
We knew it all along. You could tell by the way he walked and presented himself.
I mean, his haircut alone was like, this guy is the
He
ultimate
said-
creep, dude.
It said, "I'm gonna take pictures of you while I'm hiding in your bushes."
Yeah.
this guy could easily be cast as John Connor in Terminator. He's got like
Yes,
that exact
that
same
as
look.
well.
Which sucks because John Connor shouldn't have been a creep.
He gets there sometimes. And then Barb gets taken at the end of this episode, which Jonathan misses taking that photo entirely at the right second. Which,
Yeah.
like, okay, Jonathan is out in the woods, and then Barb's by the pool, but she's taken, which makes me start thinking, like, okay, what's so important about that, and why she was taken, and how she was taken in the first place,
She's bleeding
right? No, it must have been, right?
because Barb didn't know how to open a beer
Yeah.
with a knife.
Which I thought she got a Band-Aid out.
Time
Did
bloody.
Did they not have any Band-Aids inside the house?
I think
She
she
just,
did
like-
bandage up, right? But she like dripped blood in the pool
It's
first.
still
Yeah.
dripping.
So that was
Okay.
her. That was like the Jaws thing, the Jaws moment.
So we learn that blood is the key to something here. But at this point, we don't know the full answer.
No. We don't know, and we can't talk about it.
Not yet.
This is tricky.
So do you guys want to
So
score
tough.
this second episode, or do you want to just jump into 3 right away and we'll score
Let's
both
just
at
jump
the end?
into 3. Let's just keep going because there's more to talk about.
And then, episode 3 starts with Barb is still alive wherever she is, which looks like a doppelganger wherever she is looks like a doppelganger of the real world. Like everything is in reverse. She's in a pool, yet it's not the pool that we saw. And something gets her as she's crawling out. And yeah, I don't know at this point if Barb's alive, but something got her.
Yeah, it's Barb. Like, you're just like, oh, Barb wandered into some strange world. Not surprised.
Oh, well. She'll be
Frickin'
fine.
Is
Barb.
she sleeping? Like, what's the thing? Like, what's going on? And that little golem creature in there, like, the whole thing was strange.
Very
It's like Silent Hill.
It was strange, but it was really cool because you're like, holy shit, that's the pool. Like, now to us, it all makes sense. But at that time, it was just like, whoa, what the hell is going on right now? This is crazy.
Yeah. So technically, you could have been swimming through Barb if you jumped in the pool. If she
Yeah, I
was
guess
at the
so.
bottom of the
Yeah,
pool.
if they
you
were
could
still
swim.
playing in the pool, they could have all been inside Barb at the same time.
Whoa,
You're welcome, Sweener.
whoa. You know.
Well,
Probably my favorite part of this episode 3 are the boys getting a plan together. Like, okay, 11 knows details about Will. Let's have 11L lead us to Will because she seems to know, and so they have put up this plan to like meet up after school. Trying to teach L like what meet up at 3:30. Like, I couldn't totally fathom like how would she even know like how to read a watch if she's like doesn't know most common things.
well, he kind of was like, was it digital?
Yeah. I
Like,
think
if she knows
so.
what 330 is, maybe. I don't know.
Does
Like,
she?
how
I
would
don't
she
know.
know it's getting close? Like, there's a lot of things that were wrong with that.
Right.
It's really hard to like.
And
make
I
a
think she
kid-
went outside early. She went outside like at 3:15.
True.
So,
Can we talk
And
about the
it's not-
kids'
yeah.
like bags for a second? Because they brought some great gear with
because
them.
Dustin had the best gear.
Pringles.
Yeah, he had a lot of good
Pringles. He had all
stuff. Smarties,
the
I
candy.
think. Yeah,
Smart-
you know,
He should have had bugles. I don't know why he didn't have
He's-
bugles. I feel like he was unprepared.
Yeah, like if you're in the 80s and you don't have a bag of like nacho cheese bugles, you're like you're doing it wrong.
No one wants to hang out with you, dude. That's the party, dude. That's the party item. You want dudes to hang out with you? You brought bugles, dude.
Well,
Every
not if you're
holiday party
Lucas. You
at
bring
school.
your fucking Rambo knife and you're like, let's do this, and a hammer because you know. once
And
you
he had the
stab 'em-
slingshot,
Yeah, dude, I had one of those slingshots when I was a kid. Those things
Did
are
you?
dangerous, dude.
the wrist rocket.
Yeah, I wasn't even allowed to take it home because
Make it
it
squirrels
was at our
pee.
grandparents. Because Chad would have definitely shot somebody with that thing.
I would have gotten shot by it. I know it while I was sleeping.
Yeah, probably. Either way, I thought that was a really cool scene when they were. It felt very like you could relate to that.
Yeah, I enjoyed like, and each kid like has a different perspective. Like, all right, Dustin's like, these are our supplies because we're gonna need energy. We're gonna need caffeine and candy, sugar, all that.
Yeah, Dustin, the
Awesome.
sensible one, once again. Just like, here's what we need to survive. We don't
My
need a
favorite
hammer.
character.
We don't need a hammer.
We don't need a slingshot because that's not gonna knock out the demon organ.
Yeah, idiot.
You never know, dude.
Joyce gets even crazier in this episode after she has like after another phone blows up. She invests. Well, she hangs her Christmas lights because she knows something's going on with electricity, and she can communicate with Will through the lights. And as she hangs up the first set of lights, and she's like, "Okay, I need more lights." And she gets some answers from Will, yes and no answers, and she's like, "Okay, I'll throw a whole alphabet on my wall."
Dude,
Go
that was
full
so
crazy.
smart. I didn't know where she was going with that. I totally, I was like, what is she doing? And then when you see it, you're like, oh, that's pretty genius.
And this is the start where that house just starts going to shit.
Yeah, it was
That
kind
house
of a
is
dump
like-
to begin with, but
Yeah.
now it's just like, let's just turn this into the ultimate shithole.
Which
Right.
is so that whole alphabet thing that you said you allude to being so smart was really like interesting to me that they never really showed any of that stuff how he was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it was those lights weren't in the other realm
But yeah, he was able.
to manipulate him somehow.
I mean, we don't know too much about the other realm, but we know like he can somehow communicate. Like he was able to call Joyce, and he's
And I
able
could see that with like a
control the lights. And we know this
other-
this creature, whenever it's around, like the power starts weaning. So
Yeah.
it has some control about electricity, whether it's linked to the other world or whatever the case may be. But
That's why you need a season 2, man.
Explain
Maybe
how
he just
it
touches the wall and the lights turn or something. I don't know, man.
Stranger Things.
Or his
Yeah.
like brain is just hardwired into like the electricity. That's the only thing he can like communicate with.
Yeah.
But it was like the whole like scene, the like the vision
Looked
of
awesome.
the scene of just like seeing these lights flicker and things being spelt out was just awesome.
Yeah.
I just went and National Lampoon Christmas my fucking living room, so I thought it looked so good. Just in case.
Did you do
Jason
that?
would
I
take
was
it to the
actually
other
thinking
side.
like, man, dude, that's like a great Christmas thing. Just do the whole walls up. Just write Merry Christmas in blood across your wall and put those things on there and call it a day.
And I want to talk more Jonathan as he goes back to the school, gets his pictures developed, which I don't know if you guys ever took photography in school at all, but it was driving me crazy because you kept just like taking the photos with his hands out of the different chemicals and like, no, you need tongs.
Oh, I
'cause
thought he
first of
used
all-
tongs. I guess.
Now he
I saw him
barebacked
take
it, dude.
Yeah, he was barebacking it, which that's gonna.
To be honest, though, he was
There's
probably
all
in
kinds-
panic mode, and he just wanted
Yeah.
to get the pictures out, and he didn't want anyone to see him, so he's probably like,
Well, if you didn't want anyone to see them, why don't you just hang them the other way so their face
That
is
is-
normal?
you saw his
Instead
haircut,
of
he's not
like,
small.
girl comes into the dark room and she's like, "Oh, what you got there?" Okay, well, I'll go tell someone
Yeah,
now.
that is all weird and creepy.
I'm
and-
shooting photos for a movie. Instead, he just like hides them all creepy. You know, he could have been like made up something. Get out of here, bitch.
There's nothing you can make up in that situation.
And yeah, once it's discovered and freaking Steve and his goons like bully him, like I don't know if I should feel bad for Jonathan at all, but because he's being like the super pervert creeper.
Yeah, it's a
or
really hard
what
feel
the
right
situation.
there.
And then Nancy, like her reaction is like, just brushes it off, even though he has photos of you taking your shirt off. So
Hey,
that
call
gets
me a
little-
creeper, but I'm single. I got a camera. I accidentally fell into the woods, and I'm that old, and something's going on.
well, he doesn't have a camera anymore.
Wait, you're saying you're gonna take those photos?
I'm saying if I was,
You're pulling the
in that
trigger.
situation, I had that haircut potentially. I might be thinking a little differently, dude. It's dark. I'm lost. Maybe I just wanted to take some photos so people could find out where I was. Maybe that's all. You recognize that building? That's where I died.
Yeah,
then
that's
now you
where
can
he
find
died.
my body.
Man, imagine if he did die and all that was left of him were those creeper photos. Someone develops that, dude. That would be sad.
But yeah, use tongs next time you're in the dark room. Come on,
Yeah.
guys, together.
Tristan's fucking advice of the day.
Yeah, Tristan's photo advice.
Tong it up.
So Hopper gets more information after discovering. Well, he sees the sewer that comes out from that Hawkins laboratory, and that's when like Hopper goes into full research mode. He gets more information about the lab. He learns about this Dr. Brenner, who has been sued multiple times, and he's running this place and experiments, all kinds of stuff. And we get a lot of flashbacks back and forth with 11 specifically. Like
Mhm.
she sees the Coke commercial and she gets the flashback of. It kind of seemed like that was the first time she ever was like being tested.
That I think it was or one of the first times, right? Because
Right.
she just crushes that can. She crushes the can,
Right.
which I thought was cool.
And then is that the same flashback where she gets taken into where she like doesn't come through, or maybe it's with the cat. It's the cat that she doesn't kill, and she like gets punished and gets
Yeah,
back into the
And
room,
she-
and she like snaps the guy's neck, throws one guy into the wall.
which felt like that was like the ultimate plan anyway, just to break her, no matter how he could break her.
And see if she'll kill for him.
And just the look on frickin' Brenner, Matthew Modine, who I just despise in every role he's ever in, by the way.
Like
that
as
'cause
an
he's a
actor
good
or a
villain, or
bad
'cause
guy?
he's-
As
Yeah.
well as a character, like every character he plays, I just like hate that character. Not because
So
it's
he's
like a
good.
bad, but like he plays the bad guy well, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you put those sideburns on anybody, and you're gonna fucking hate him more than anything in the world. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Throw those on Chad, and we'll all be like,
But yeah, the look on his
Fucking hate
face
this
when he's
guy.
like, when he knows what he has in front of him with his experiments, more or less. Even though I'm still unclear, like she calls him Papa.
Papa.
I don't know if he just told her that he's her dad or what the case may be.
Oh, I am sure that he pretends that he's like.
Yeah, because
I
why
made
would
you.
you experiment on your own kid? I don't know. It's just.
Well, that was the other thing that was
it
making me
just
think
a
that it was Hopper's kid, because she's like calling him dad, but you know that like you have an idea that they're not related in any way, shape.
Yeah.
That she's
Easily
stolen
break
goods.
at that age.
She's stolen goods, but she's still like, yeah, she's not very vocal. She doesn't know very much, so I guess you just call her Papa, and she just believes everything you say. She's pretty gullible for a superhero.
You only know what you're told.
That's true.
Chad is awesome.
And then we see Joyce freak out even more after she sees that thing come out of the wall, and she just books it. That's like her reaction and like her running down that street just in a panic. Such great act by Winona Ryder.
Dude, she was good in this, man.
Yeah, Winona Ryder's gonna get nominated for something in this for sure. Like every scene, I just feel like she's like it's real. Like she's just living that role, which is kind of hard to do for such.
I might give her Allerton Av's Actress of the Year award.
Oh man!
Whoa, really? Holy crap, dude! We need to discuss that. Don't go winging that road around.
I can't be throwing shit
We got to
around.
vote on this now.
Yeah. Supergirl
Well, I
was out
said
this
I
year.
might. I mean, obviously, I could be vetoed.
Yeah, well.
Actually, I might be the only one that has that award. So.
You actually won it one year for your starring role in that movie where you were the nuclear submarine guy.
No, yeah.
Definitely was not the new. I was Brian Astaroth, the guy who was about to go and kill Abraham Lincoln. But then
And that was an AMC
It was
movie,
George
correct?
Astaroth. It was on AMC. I'm famous. They gave me pot
Obviously.
pies and sodas. And
Thanks for joining us, Chad.
Wait, they give you a pot pie?
For
That
dinner.
is not true.
Yeah, I got there at 6 a.m. I didn't leave until like 1 a.m.
How do they serve you a hot pie at one of those things? Like,
It was like catered in.
what a weird
It was
thing
like-
to
it was a
cater
fancy- It was a fancy pot pie somewhere in Chicago delivered it.
in. That is the weirdest thing ever. I think we should have pot pies at a Christmas party.
Okay, dude. Turkey pot pies, man.
Yeah.
Elegant.
We could touch a little more on Nancy in this episode as she comes home. She's a jerk to her mom, even though her mom's just concerned, and her mom knows like what happened, where Nancy was the night before.
Bow chicka bow.
Yeah, she knows.
I guess she's been there.
But then Nancy like
Smell.
realizes that holy cow, Barb is missing, and she calls Barb's mom and kind of plays dumb, like, oh yeah, she's at the library. I knew it all along. Never mind. And then she finds her car still parked there. Then that's when she just knows like something's up, and the ball starts to roll for her, so to speak.
Yeah. Nancy.
Freaking Nancy.
Bye, Barb. I used to love you.
She wasn't as worried as she should have been for Barb leaving. I feel like she would have been, or like being gone, like totally. If you found that car, like you'd have a mental breakdown.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And the fact that she wasn't in school, Barb doesn't miss school. All right, we all know Barb. She doesn't miss school.
No. Barb would never miss a day of fun.
She's received perfect attendance since kindergarten, so she doesn't want to break that streak at all.
I don't know, dude. I feel like Barb is like this is like an act. Like we never saw.
You think she's a wild card?
Yeah, I think we never saw the real Barb. I think Barb is just playing
Is
the
that
straight
season
angle
2?
on this, dude. No, I think we only saw.
Barb might get
part
her
of the
own
story.
spin-off series.
Yeah, like she's just like out there just banging all sorts of people from another town, dude. And we don't
Barb
even know
Chronicles, dude.
it. Yeah. So
Stranger
like, we'll
Barbs.
slander Barb. Yeah.
Beyond Barb, it'll be called.
She might get her own movie
Yeah,
on Lifetime.
Barb. It's just gonna be like 12 hours of her just sitting in the pool, just smoking.
Freaking Barb.
Smoking and drinking.
Yeah. Barb being Barb.
Well, beyond Barb, this third episode, very powerful, emotional endings to this episode, as the boys are, well, first 11 leads them to Will's house, and she says, oh, he's hiding. Like, boys are like, dude, Will's not here, so you lied to us, or blah, blah, blah. And they get upset about at 11, and I think Mike just screams at her, which, totally uncool, Mike, come on.
Yeah, that's not how you treat a lady, Mike.
Learn.
And then they see cop cars drive by, and like I'm sure they haven't seen many cop cars drive by in their town, especially when Hopper goes to say like, "Hey, we haven't had a kid since like 1959 or something like that, and we haven't had anyone get killed or suicide in forever after his buddy at the burger place got killed by those freaking goons that Brenner works for. But yeah, cops found something in the water, and that song playing at the end of the episode, Heroes, was pretty powerful also, by the way.
The Wallflower song?
Well, was that the actual song that was playing? Hero?
I don't remember, actually, to be honest.
One headline.
Or was it a remake?
I think it was probably the real song.
I can go for some Wallflowers, though.
No, you can't. I don't know what
It was Foo Fighters that remade Hero.
Oh, yeah, it was Foo Fighters, yeah. Not Wallflowers. Same
for
thing.
Godzilla, I
Same
think.
thing.
But yeah, the boys come across like the cops and ambulances and fire trucks, and they see someone pulled out of the water, and instantly Mike knows that that's Will. It has to be Will, and the fact that Will isn't out there, and then 11 lied, even though we don't know totally the truth about 11. But yeah, there's Mike coming home and crying in his mom's arms. Crazy ending to this episode.
Yeah, fucking poor Will.
Dude, yeah, and Hopper getting into the place, and then like they got the video footage, and
Well,
like,
yeah, Hopper knows.
Hopper and his fucking clowns, dude, figure it out that it's like there's something's fishy going on because they put the video in there, but there was no rain going down, so thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, Hopper doesn't seem just like a dumb cop at this point.
Because this is the first episode for me where Hopper didn't look like a dumb, drunk kind of idiot. He was starting to he started off like that. Second episode, This episode, he kind of I was like, oh man, this city slicker might have something.
Yeah, he had to get his swag back. He had to slowly build it back.
Well, yeah, he's kind of using this okay, he actually has to do something in this town that hasn't had many things happen.
That fire is coming back, dude.
And he always had that fire. He may have went to this town to do low-key stuff because he didn't want to be in the big city and whatnot. And now he's getting involved with a missing boy that he might relate in some ways to his daughter. So yeah, Hopper's becoming one of my more favorite characters of the show.
Hopper's back, baby.
He's excited.
So scoring these two episodes, 2 and 3, what are you guys gonna give? We're all 5s around the first time.
Yeah, it's really hard to give it anything less than a 4 and anything. It's like you just want to give them all 5s because I watched everyone back to back and they're all great, but I don't know. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it a 5. I just like it. Fuck it.
I'm throwing a 5 at it too, man. I mean, this show hasn't really fallen off the rails yet, dude, and it just gets better every time, dude. Characters develop great and acting solid, and the story keeps you interested, man.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder.
Give her all the
I forgot all about her.
All the awards. I'm at a 5 as well. Cause at this point, through 3 episodes, I was just I'm really glad that I'm watching this show because I'm intrigued by it. There's so many cool things happening and so many throwbacks to things from the 80s and Star Wars and comic books and all things I like. So yeah, it's awesome. And the soundtrack is amazing.
I mean, yeah, everything about this show is so great. It's crazy.
All right. Well, we're winding down on the other show that we've been following for quite some time now. We're on episode 9 of Preacher, Finish the Song, which we finally get. This is finally the episode that we get a little bit more backstory on this mysterious cowboy guy with all the flashbacks and his family being butchered, or not being butchered, but dying because he didn't get the medicine back in time. And we learn a lot about this cowboy guy as it's kind of revealed, or it is revealed, that he's in hell all this time.
I don't know how I felt about that when hell came up on a thing, and I was like, oh, this entire time has been hell, what they've been pretending.
What they've been showing, with and him replaying the exact same thing over and over. And, this is just his hell, and he's in hell.
Yeah, they heavily implied that it was not that it was some olden time flashbacks for the last, which is annoying as shit to me. Because there was this is one of those bullshit situations where there wasn't even any clues that you could have figured out. It was just them fucking with you to fuck with you, and that kind of stuff is annoying.
Yeah. Because you can't go back and reflect on it and be like, oh my gosh, how did I miss that?
Yeah, or it's just
those moments are gone. It's just we got you, bitch.
It's haha, You guys are all, we fucked you guys. And it's like, I don't know, dude. That's just lame. That's just like a lame way to approach it. And I will not give this episode higher than a 3 because of that. And actually, it really kind of soured this episode and the finale to me. I was just like, I don't know. I'm kind of over this.
Because you were so down on this one that it just trickled into the next.
I was just kind of over it, yeah. It really bothered me. I mean, that first scene is actually super cool. When he walks in there and makes that guy continue to play karaoke and just destroys everybody, that was actually awesome.
Yeah, it opened up really good. And I think this plays back to what I was talking about with Stranger Things. Like how, like you're led to believe something and then they just totally shit on it like this. Like in Stranger Things, we're talking about this monster. And then how would it be if they're like, oh, it doesn't exist. It was just in her mind.
Yeah,
that
you'd be annoyed.
Shit. Whereas just like, fuck you guys. But yeah, I'm with you on that too.
I mean, there were some cool things in this episode besides the cowboy stuff wasn't cool. Like, it was a letdown because I kept thinking, like, okay, cowboy is linked to maybe Genesis somehow, and that's like created Genesis in some way or something. Like, I had to relate to like modern day events.
Yeah, I thought it was giving us like backstory on how things had happened, and not just, oh, here's this guy like walking around killing people. Essentially, that's all it turned out to be.
He did ice the guy playing the piano, and that was pretty sweet.
Right,
he was playing well, dude. No reason.
What do you call that? And then he killed the singer with what do you like sling blade thing or whatever? Is that a sling blade?
Yeah, the curved blade thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go with sling blade on it. Yeah, chop dude's head right off, man. After the final note.
Totally unnecessary.
In hell, though, I mean, it's necessary. It's gonna happen again.
I was talking about there were some cool things in this episode for me. Mostly with Fior and DeBlanc, the Angels. Going to a travel agency and like, oh, that's how you go to hell, as they want to go to hell, which it's being revealed like what their backup plan is now, because they ultimately failed getting Genesis and without everything with Preacher. But yeah, their backup plan is to go to hell. We don't know why they want to go to hell at this point until the end of the episode. But yeah, I kind of liked all that travel agency stuff and them blackmailing that lady.
It was kind of cool. I like that the lady was like, I need 20 minutes with the tall guy or whatever. I thought that was pretty great.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it was a cool concept, but I don't know. By the time it got there, I just felt like they're gonna screw me over with it again. But that was actually kind of cool. Yeah, after that, I felt like the episode fell apart for me.
Yeah, I mean that Cassidy stuff kind of dragged on with him recuperating, and Tulip kept feeding him animals, and the Emily girl
city's
comes
fucking
involved.
animals, dude.
Yeah, then the sheriff chokes somebody out.
Right.
Like, it just goes off the rails.
And I mean, we all knew that Emily was going to have the mayor come over, and she was going to have the mayor be fed to Cassidy. Like, we knew that was going to happen, right? As this episode was going on.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest tell in this episode.
Yeah. You knew that was yeah.
I know if Sweeter was here, he would have mentioned back in that cowboy scene when he was shooting everyone. Like, I'm sure Sweeter would have commented how many rounds were in that gun, because he just kept firing and firing. Like, something's up.
There's no way that gun has 22 bullets in it. Yeah. But he does have like a lot of ammo on him, or a big belt of ammo. He has ammo somewhere, so I think he was okay. And it's hell. Who knows what he even used?
Yeah. Well, once it's revealed it's hell, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's different rules apply. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But venturing to hell with Fior and DeBlanc, and they go to that. They wait to get picked up
in that awesome, like, old person pickup car, like the airport shuttle, which is
and
great.
that's the setting that wherever they were filming that.
Breaking Bad.
Exactly same place that Breaking Bad was filmed for when Walter White gets picked up. So
did they do that on purpose?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just a throwback because they're both on AMC or what the case may have been, or they're just reusing same sets. I'm not sure.
That's weird if they are.
Maybe they're reusing same sets.
I liked them visiting the travel agent lady. It reminded me of like people trying to get into the Beetlejuice hell thing. Like when they were talking to the lady and she was all snarky, kind of like the lady in Beetlejuice.
We just talked about this.
I know. I'm just saying. I didn't get to chime in. You were talking
Favorite
without
part.
me. I'm here, guys. I'm here.
You guys may have never watched the show, but there used to be a show on the CW, because I watched everything on the CW. Reaper. You ever watch that show?
No.
It was from like, I don't know, like 9 years ago or so. But this guy his parents sold his soul out to the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And So now this kid has to work for the devil, and he has to retrieve lost souls from hell, and to send them back to hell, he has to go to the DMV, and he gives them to this lady at the DMV, as that's like a transportation back to hell at the DMV, because the joke there is like, oh yeah, the DMV is hell, or like your closest thing to hell. But that's the only thing I want to talk about with travel agency and hell.
All right.
DMV is hell, dude. You know it is. Everyone's been there.
Dude, the DMV in Texas is amazing.
Really?
Dude, it's like you can book online.
They have donuts and everything?
No, you book online, and they give you a time.
They give you a
just
warm
walk
towel.
in. They're like, you get a text. They're like, your thing's in 10 minutes, and you're like, oh shit, I got to get there. And you walk in, you go in. It's perfect.
I do that for my haircuts too.
Yeah, it's like welcome to the future. DMV and haircuts.
So I can just book my appointment, book my thing like a half hour, and just show up whenever. And if there's people waiting, I jump in front of them.
Oh, you dick, dude! I bet people are like, Tristan.
Shit, that's a fast pass shit, dude.
Six Flags.
Nobody likes
Don't
that.
fast pass me at Six Flags, dude. They'll push you down.
Don't fast pass me at a haircut, dude. Don't fast pass me in the fucking DMV. That's the worst place to fast pass.
Dude, I feel horrible, right? Because
Get stabbed in the
there's
fucking
people
DMV.
like all over there sitting there like reading big books and on laptops, and I'm just like, do you guys not know
can't
that you
help.
can just do this? Like, it's
No,
so
no.
strange. Like, people are weird, or they just like it.
Yeah, but does anyone really go to the DMV website? They usually just go in there and forget all their paperwork and hope that someone helps them out. You know how DMVs are, dude.
That is totally true. It's the
People are
worst
always
people in the
unprepared.
world just going to the DMV, just causing
Just walk in. I
trouble,
need a
dude.
license. For what?
Like, you got nothing, no paperwork. Just give me it. Take my picture, put it on a little sticker, and drive this car right out of here. Stupid people.
What the hell?
Back on Preacher, they show selling the tulips in Albuquerque, and she's got a guy tied up, and this is finally like bridging the gap of what Tulip's been trying to get Jesse to jump on board with, like this guy that left Tulip and Jesse high and dry at one point during something they were doing, and it's finally coming now, and they're saving it for like the season finale. So I'm assuming it has to be big next episode in the season finale, as they end this episode with it.
Oh, the season finale is big.
Huge.
Season finale is much better than this episode. I'll tell you that.
I would agree on that. Yeah.
All right.
It's,
I'm excited.
Don't get too excited.
Now
It's not
fucking
amazing.
pumped up.
It's not
You guys got
amazing
me
television.
excited.
It's just it has an interesting ending.
So if you're scoring this episode, what are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it a 2 for screwing me over. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way they kind of like jerked me around like that. The travel agency stuff was cool. The rest of it was just eh. I don't know. I don't know how we could talk about it more next week, but I don't know how I feel about Preacher at this point. It's one of my least favorite shows to cover in the history of this show.
Really? Wow.
I don't know what it is because it's not a bad show. It's shot really well. There's somewhat, I feel like, interesting characters, and it seems cool enough, but I just can't get excited to watch this show every week, which is weird. Like, I'd rather watch Arrow at this point. And
We can make
and
that
Arrow
happen.
is a much better piece of, or this is a much better piece of television than Arrow. I can totally understand it. I just can't get excited for it, which I don't
So
know
just
why.
the story, it just doesn't.
Yeah, something about the
engage
story.
you.
I don't feel like the characters like click even when they're together. I just don't feel like there's much chemistry in this cast at all. There's like a lot of good pieces, but it doesn't come together to make me like want to watch this interesting show. I don't know. It's a bummer.
And you read Did you read the first volume of the comic?
I read most of the first volume of the comic. This
Okay.
is fairly faithful. It goes its own way, but it does some stuff.
Okay.
There's nothing.
We're gonna talk more about the comic next week.
We'll talk about it with the finale because it kind of plays into that pretty well.
Dang.
So, Chad, what you got?
Ah,
what you
man,
got.
I went into it with a 3, and by the end of it here, I'm thinking I'm gonna roll a 2 on this bad boy, dude. Just well, comparatively, we go throughout the season, and is it worth still watching? I'm probably gonna say I don't think you should. Like, it's just like we go from like some of the coolest fucking fight scenes and episodes in a long time in TV, and like some of the, we were talking about the cinematography and all that shit, dude, and like it feels like it's just like they gave up on it now. Like some of the cinematography isn't where it used to be. I don't know if they got like someone directing it differently, and like some of the just some of the stories just falling apart, and it's just like I don't know if they knew where they were going with it, but Or, you know what, maybe I just played a fool, and I don't like being played a fool, so you're getting a fucking 2 for playing me a fool.
Don't make me feel dumb.
Yeah, you make me feel dumb, I give you 2. Alright? That's how I do.
I'm going with a 3 for this episode.
Yeah, you would.
I would. There's some things that, the cowboy stuff I didn't like whatsoever. And it revealing
it was
that
cool looking, but...
Like, okay, cool, he's been in hell, now he's hired, as we see the Angels, Fjord, and DeBlanc hire him to kill the preacher. That's their backup plan, more or less. So that is kind of interesting to me. I don't know if that's going to play in the season finale or not. I would imagine it would, but that part's interesting. Preacher on the run kind of in this episode also was kind of cool, making pancakes with the homeless people. I like that.
Yeah, Preacher's turned around. He's turned into a better guy now.
Cassidy stuff was kind of... I'm glad the mayor's gone. I hate the mayor.
It's
but...
like Cassidy was so great in the first few episodes, and then they just gimped him.
Yeah, they kind of wasted him.
Anyone surprised that, Custer put him out?
No.
So yeah, we'll see what happens in the season finale.
Wasted TV time.
I did appreciate Fior and his love for comics, that he tried to take a case of comics with him to hell. I appreciated that.
That was good stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff. So we'll catch up on the season finale next week for Preacher. Episode 88. We do have one comic book to talk about this week, and that is Civil War II, issue number 4, that just came out last week.
The verdict is in! Wait, that's not the title, is it? No.
But yeah, the verdict is in. Hawkeye is found not guilty for murdering the Hulk.
What a cool shot that was of Times Square.
Yeah, Times Square and Spider-Man. Yeah, I did love that.
And Hawkeye in full gear.
Like he geared up at court to take this photo. It was a stock photo.
You can tell they used the stock photo, but him celebrating in the stock photo was like, really, they used that? Of course they like.
That's how he won.
The media would actually use that, so
yeah, hell yeah, they would.
It was done pretty well. The line in the sand is definitely drawn in this issue, as last issue number 3, Tony mapped the brain of the Inhuman who can predict the future, Ulysses, and he now understands how his powers work in this one. Then his powers kind of work like an algorithm, and it's not totally his visions are the future, but it's not necessarily the concrete future. That it's a possibility of a future that could happen. So that's like,
I thought it was kind of cool, idea, taking all the power that's coming off of everyone's bodies and arranging it mathematically to see what they might decide to do. The energy I'm getting off you right now, Tristan, I feel like you're going to tell me more about this comic book, and I can make a future out of that. You're going to give it a 1. And now what do? Do we shut Tristan down?
You could. If you're going to give it a 5, you could. And that's kind of like what Captain Marvel's stance on things like. She
had a good point in there, though.
Whatever future she sees with this Inhuman, she just wants to go with it. No matter if it's wrong or not. And as she finds out in this issue, as she uses his power to stop this lady outside a building that has an empty briefcase that they think is an undercover Hydra agent, but as it's revealed that this lady knows nothing of what they're talking about, so the whole algorithm is off.
Yeah.
And that's the really interesting thing for me. Okay, so his powers really don't work 100%. The future is not certain in this. And that's when things get pretty good in this for me.
Yeah, I like this whole, I didn't necessarily know where they were going with it, but I like how this is starting to turn out. It's starting to turn into a pretty damn cool story.
Yeah.
Much more interesting than I think any of us thought it was going to be, at least after the first couple of episodes.
With the exception that they're really feeding into that these predictions are fake, and they're not giving me anything to grasp onto that would put them as real yet. You know what I'm saying? They're really heavy on the they're all they might not be true, and it's like leaning on all they might be true and not true. Like, you know, with the briefcase thing, that wasn't going to be true. A lot of the Hulk stuff, you know, was lean on not being true. They haven't really shown anything that was real to give her any warrant that you know we should root for her. You know,
we
like,
kind of the Hulk getting killed wasn't that whole battle like one of the premonitions early?
Right, that was a premonition.
Well, it was the premonition was that he was going to kill everybody.
Right.
But he didn't kill anybody.
But they stopped him because that's what they were doing. They were stopping everyone.
But
they went to stop Thanos after they
yeah.
saw Thanos taking a cosmic cube, and that's how Rhodey died. War Machine.
I get what you're saying though. They should have let like at least one real thing happen to kind of even.
Yeah,
out the
like
odds.
some kid, like the premonition is like this kid's gonna blow up this grocery mart, and he just fucking blows up like a portion of it, and someone saves it. Like, you know, then you're like, oh shit, it could have.
And
been,
then
you know.
Captain Marvel's argument is like, well, we have to be there at every time and stop these things from happening, even though if they might not even happen, we have to be there. So she wants, like, even if this lady that they detained has no link to Hydra whatsoever, isn't a double agent, if there's a possibility, she wants to squash it right away. And that's when you like, me personally, that's when I like kind of just don't like Captain Marvel in this issue, like, or in this entire story. Like, Captain Marvel is kind of made out to be like on the wrong. I see her points, but I also see where she's wrong with it.
Dude, I felt like she's been wrong since the beginning. I've been Team Stark. I think it's just like she's just like kind of crazy and emotional.
Yeah,
just like chill out, dude.
Well, she's also like, think about when you get invested in defending something and someone's against that idea. Like it's hard to go back and change your mind because you already just want to stick with it. And I think that's where she's at. She's like, well, fuck. Even if she did think that she was wrong, she's not gonna go back on it because she's just trying to, prove her point. Like, you know. So, but yeah, they're not giving you any reason to really root for her, to be honest. Like, you just kind of feel like an idiot if you're rooting for her. And then she has no one on her team until the end of this fucking comic book, and then all of a sudden everyone, Guardians of the Galaxy, are fucking jumping on her
Guardians
side.
Like, the entire team jumped on her side, which is kind of
there's no
like,
way
other
Rocket
teams,
Raccoon would do that, dude.
Like X-Men and other teams like that, they're kind of split up between both sides.
And isn't it funny how they didn't even question it? They're just like, fuck, Captain Marvel, we're with you. Where, like, they show a whole room of people sitting down to discuss it, and then, like, there's, like, 500 mutants that are just like, fuck it.
Yeah, I feel like the Guardians don't really know the whole story, and Captain Marvel
they
just,
don't
like,
care, dude. They
brought
just
them in.
Yeah, like,
So
what are they
like
doing
that,
hanging out on Earth anyway?
Right.
And what really makes them want to fight, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they really haven't been involved to hear any story that we've seen. What makes them really want to beat the shit out of Captain America?
Well, we don't know the time that has passed.
And
Maybe
they do.
She's told them, and that
we are reading the main Civil War II story. There are all these offshoots. So if you do want to read like how the Guardians came into the fray, you can read the Guardians comic, which is like the one-off of like explaining the backstory there. If you want to go that deep, they do it for every single title, like for Iron Man and X-Men, all the titles.
Maybe we'll have to read some of those to figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah, some of them might be decent, but there's so many of them, so it's hard to pinpoint ones you really need to read.
Yeah, that first Civil War was like 150 comics, and I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's best just to read the main story anyways.
Yeah.
Chad's happy because She-Hulk is awoken.
Oh yeah, your boy's dead. Get crazy.
Is that how that conversation went? She just walks in there like, your boy's dead. Get crazy. She-Hulk is gonna just do work.
Yeah, so is no one afraid that she's gonna go kill everybody?
She got a little veiny.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's the way you approach that situation, but
you just actually put a mask on her and just put her back out. You know,
put her in the world, let her figure that out by herself, dude.
Yeah.
It was funny how the media was also explaining once they read the Hawkeye verdict. They're like, oh yeah, and like 88% of America agree with the verdict. Like everyone support. Like I think everyone. I want to talk to someone that is pro Captain Marvel. Because like.
Maybe the news media's spinning it, dude, and you don't even know. Maybe it's just like everyone, like, you don't live with mutants, Tristan. Maybe it's just like, man, I don't want it. Like, I thought they explained it really well, where they were like, the people in Arizona, I think it was, are probably really happy that Hulk's not running around anymore. Because I could agree with that. That dude is big, man. And if you saw what he did to New York, and like, I don't know, dude, I'd be afraid of him, I guess.
Gotcha.
And they showed footage, like, they played the footage of him saying, put me down if I go crazy.
Yeah. I'm part of the 88%.
Remember Dr. Kevorkian, dude?
Oh my god, am I Team Marvel all of a sudden? Does that put me on Team Marvel?
You're Kevorkian, dude. You're Team Kevorkian.
All right. Assisted suicides, I guess, is something I'm into.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about.
Is that a political stance? Because I don't want to make that on this show.
No political stances here on Adapted.
Too late. The line's been crossed.
So, issue number 4, Civil War 2. How you guys gonna score it?
I'm gonna give it a 4 while she has pondering.
4.
I thought this was like, I liked where this is all heading, and I liked what they did with the percentage, like, hey, this isn't all gonna be real. I like the Hawkeye verdict reading. I like the art. I like everything about it, really.
Yeah.
4 for
Pretty
me.
solid.
Solid 4.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do 3. It was close to a 4, but I just can't get over I guess I need to read the other comics, but just solely based off of this, I don't get why all these other superheroes want to beat the shit out of these other superheroes when they really haven't explained the Captain Marvel is not at least Tony Stark has talked in front of his squad, so I get why they're backing him up. But Captain Marvel hasn't explained her process to these guys, and all it would take is 1 page for her to sit down and be like, "This is what's happening. They're coming for us." Blah blah blah. Instead of just walking through a hallway and she's like, "We're ready for this," and it's just who's ready?
I feel like they kind of explained it a little with Captain Marvel's viewpoint, where she was saying if it's a possibility of
but that was in a room. That was in a room full of all the people that are fighting against. So it was nobody in there was backing her up. So it's just I don't know. If I asked you to go you were best friends with Tony Stark, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, you gotta beat Tony Stark's ass. I'm like, wait, why? Just because you think I don't know if this is worth.
But that's
it's just
also a comic book selling thing. So now you're curious. So now go read.
Well, I'm kind of annoyed because they're fighting.
But that's how they do it.
Maybe I just saw a little Rocket Raccoon and I'm like, I don't want him to die, and I'm afraid. Little Rocky, my boy Rocky. 3, dude. It's just we'll see where 5 goes, dude. I think that's gonna be my turning point.
And next issue could be a 5, especially with they're kind of promising
5 and 5, dude.
Yeah, so I'm at a 4 this issue, as this is probably my best issue yet for Civil War 2, because it started not so hot for me, but now I'm starting to get more engaged in the story. And this one I felt was done really well. This was a good issue, so go pick it up if you haven't gotten it.
Get it.
Stuff.
Get at it.
Jumping into the news. Suicide Squad's coming out this week, as I think we're all pretty excited for.
Starting tomorrow, dude.
Yeah, I'm super curious to see if DC rights the ship.
And of course, the reviews have started to come out from the media, and another Rotten Tomatoes thing that fans are actually petitioning to shut down Rotten Tomatoes because they're upset about the bad reviews of DC movies.
I don't understand that Rotten Tomatoes is just an aggregator. It has nothing to do with that. You people are fucking stupid.
Yeah, when I saw that, I just had to laugh.
What was their reasoning behind it? Just that they didn't like the fact
they think that the reviewers have it against DC movies. That oh, why can't you just give them a good score? Because some of these movies, Batman vs Superman, didn't deserve a great score.
Dude, if you see how the petition's written, it's probably written by a 14 or a 15-year-old, dude.
DC movies good. Watch them.
DC good. You stupid Marvel.
Oh yeah, and
David
I hate tomatoes.
Stupid Marvel. David Ayer, the director of Suicide Squad, at the premiere of Suicide Squad, he apologized for it now, but he said F Marvel after the movie was done. I don't know why they make this big war of DC versus Marvel and
sell tickets, dude.
Yeah, they're playing into some of these fanboys that are just super we love DC and everything they do, and we hate Marvel and vice versa. Me, I enjoy everything that I am absorbing. I'm loving all these. The DC Comics right now is awesome with Rebirth going on right now, and you all know how I feel about the Flash TV series. So.
Yeah, if you got a cape or a super suit and powers, I'm in. Unless you're the Tick, then it's gonna take some convincing.
Well, the old Tick was good. The new Tick looks terrible.
Yeah, I'm fucking excited.
Yeah,
dude. I got my Harley Quinn's outfit all drying right now, so.
Oh, you have an outfit going for the show?
I do, dude. Boomerang.
What are you gonna be?
Boomerang.
Huh. All right.
Are you gonna have an accent?
You called. That's a knife. This is a knife.
That is awesome.
Hope you get some videos of that for the site.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going Stag, dude. My partner in crime does not want to see it.
Really?
No interest, unless it's like a $5 Sunday, but I want to see it like early. You know, it's like one of those things I can't wait a couple of days.
I'm seeing it on preview night tonight, so.
Oh, that's tomorrow, right? Tomorrow night is the opening. I'm going to see it on Friday night, and we'll see what happens. I'm excited. I'm sure it's going to be like a rocket. They're saying it's going to beat Deadpool. It's going to do like 140. But I really wonder if these reviews are going to affect that $140 million projection.
Shit, no, dude. You saw what DC Batman vs Superman did.
Well, that was also ticked down a little because.
Well, yeah, and it dropped significantly pretty quickly after the first week. But I feel like
still, yeah.
I mean, I've seen some headlines out there, but I'm going into Suicide Squad a lot more optimistic than I was on anything else.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping it's good.
Because the trailers have been solid, right? Like we all thought the trailers were pretty solid. Like,
and seeing Harley Quinn finally in live action form is in itself awesome.
I like Will Smith. I think he does some funny stuff.
Movie. We get a little Batman in this movie, and who knows who else.
You think Will Smith is conjuring his days of Independence Day?
Dude, I think Will Smith's gonna kill it. We're all gonna be like, Will Smith was the shit in this movie.
That's what the early reviews are saying. That him and fucking Margot Robbie are the hot.
Not Katana. Katana's not a hottie.
And Killer Croc.
What about Slipknot?
Oh, Killer Croc, really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
What about Slipknot?
I don't know about Slipknot.
Okay.
He only follows those two characters, Tristan.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't have time for this overstuffed crap. This is too much.
Well, I'm glad we've got Chad on this week's episode because we've got some costume discussion. And we were already talking about it in a little email thread. But the Superman costume Superman's going to be on Supergirl, this TV series this season. And they revealed his costume, which has to be the worst looking Superman costume in live action form in maybe forever. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, it is.
Some parts of it are reminiscent of the comics, but it just doesn't like fit in with this show that well, I feel like.
No, dude, he looks. You want to talk about it? We talked about it earlier in the show, dude. If you guys caught it with Stranger Things, you want to talk about a guy you're gonna find in the bushes taking photos of you. This is the dude in this outfit.
It's the same actor.
Yeah, it's like you look at this guy in this photoshopped gimmick, dude, and it's bad, dude. He's not even gonna have a real cape in the show.
He had cape in some other pictures I saw.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
okay.
I don't know.
He just takes it off because he gets sweaty back.
Maybe he was taken off, but yeah, you shouldn't be photographed without your cape on. If you're in the suit, wear the cape at all times.
Yeah. Dude, you should never have that thing off, dude. Also, if you're going to be playing Superman, you shouldn't get your costume at Halloween Express.
Very true.
You should have someone make a costume for you.
Yeah.
It does not fit the dude. There's way too much weird chest and awkward head.
They should have given him, like Supergirl's costume gives her these like fake biceps. Like they should have done the same thing with him. Like jack him up fake style. Who cares?
Yeah, dude.
Supergirl, you do it with her. Like that's sexist. Do it both ways.
And it was the same costume designer that designed Supergirl's costume that did Superman's costume. So I don't know why like this one isn't as good.
I just think it's the guy. I think he hurts it a little bit.
Maybe it's the guy. I don't know.
He just has this creeper look, and he's not that ripped.
Like something about his belt really bothers me, and his boots.
It's the way his mouth is. He's not showing like teeth, but he looks like a weird with the jawline.
I think it's just a weird photo.
Yeah, dude. He just.
I guess we'll see him in action, and maybe it'll be different. I'm sure we'll get a trailer for the new season sometime.
No, actually, you know what, dude? There's some photos of him running. Yeah, it's just no.
He's
like just a weird Superman.
He's just his face is just
like he doesn't know how to run. He's just like prancing or something, like galloping. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll see, dude. I think it's weird that they feel like they have to bring Superman to this show anyway. I think that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I don't like that at all, but
I mean, Supergirl is pretty close to Superman, but it's still surprising me that they're even doing it with how much they have in with their movie universe right now. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's like, what if this guy's better than the Superman we have? Totally possible.
So season 5, dude, they'll probably bring in Batman then, huh? And the Joker?
Next season.
Fuck it. Why not, dude? Start ruining everything. Ruin it all.
All right. Well, that's it for this week on Adapted, episode 87. Join us next week for episode 88 as we're talking the season finale of Preacher, talking episodes 3 and 4 of Stranger Things, and we might be talking the to-be-determined comic. Big reveal next week as well, you'll find out what it is.
Yeah.
Was it a surprise? I don't even get to know? Is it going to show up on my doorstep?
I'll let you know soon enough.
We'll tease it on Twitter, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Or are we having a live read-along?
We could have you voice some comics out for our viewers that don't want to read it, just want to hear it. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, like Chad, I'm assuming you wish someone would read you the comics every week. These are so wordy.
So many words.
Waiting for Google to come out with an app.
Yeah, there were some scenes in the Civil War, and I was just like, oh man, dude, Chad's going to be so angry right now.
Oh, dude, that whole Hawkeye page?
Yep.
That whole Hawkeye page?
I was like, ooh.
I love every time when Jason's reading a comic book, he like knows what Chad's going through at the same time.
I'm just like, oh, I can feel it.
All right. Well, join us all week long on allertonave.com as we've got even more videos, reviews. We might have a review of Suicide Squad up over the weekend. Who knows? We'll do a talk back. Plenty of things to come. Join us every week on twitch.tv/allertonave as we've got Adapted. Black Friday's right after us. As we're talking the big video games of the week. Might be talking a little Batman Telltale.
Yeah, I think we are going to talk about that.
Hell yeah, we have to talk about it, dude. Especially with Suicide Squad tomorrow.
Yeah. If you miss us on Twitch, check out our archives on twitch.tv/allertonav. Also, subscribe to us on youtube.com/allertonavlive and never miss a video again.
Ever.
All right, we'll see you next week for episode 88. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Your lights flicker. I did it.
Control.